my pleasure now to introduce our final reader, Bo Vang. Where's Bo? Bo Vang's work comes to us as lyrical meditations on the fragility of family ties. The work comes with a reaching to understand what it means to lose someone you love, and it comes to us with a deep regard for the dead. Alongside these meditations is the awareness of what could have been salvaged in the attempt to restore familial bonds. A mother and daughter struggle to connect while a father's death impacts a family's sense of togetherness. And it impacts that family's ability to build a renewed foundation in which to secure hope and closure. But indeed, the gentle motioning toward hope and closure is essentially what comes to light in this work. These reflections and more find shelter in Bo's enduring and courageous poems. Through poetic expression and the influence of language to reach into the afterlife, Bo's fearless exploration of personal and familial grief inspires us to heal. Here is a poet brave in her efforts to write about the process of mourning her father's death while examining the aftermath of grief itself. And here is a poet who has shown us the immense power of a Hmong daughter's sorrow. What does it mean for one's grief to unravel and to become frayed as the edges of the Hmong embroidery in her poems? What now as a Hmong daughter to a heartbroken Hmong mother? And what becomes of a father in his transformation into ancestor? In her thesis titled Loom of Silken Years, the speaker plunges into the tender and tumultuous memories of her late father while seeking to restore the bond with her widowed mother. There are poems that pay homage to dakeng, the Hmong bamboo instrument played during funerals. Poems that draw on food to explore connections between identity, grief, and empty meals, alongside the inherited work of now having to feed the dead. And poems that re-examine the marriage between a mother and a father, the tense moments followed by the awareness of an abiding love between two people at odds. These poems teem with lyrical beauty as they gorgeously flow down the page, accounting for the unfilled open spaces and silences between words. They do all of that and so much more. Bao gu kho ka hang ka yo idun chain jay de idun chai wa bing si ka je lu ba ho jong go hang de bu sa ka chai cha ke ba meng to ko lu neng ya de gu shong she lo go. Okay, and now please help me welcome Bo Vang.
Thank you, Mai Der, for the introduction. Thank you for the MFA program. It's such a wonderful opportunity to be able to read tonight. Thank you to my amazing English professors, Mai Der Vang, Rinsido, Stephen Church, and Tim Scheme. And Jefferson, thank you so much for tonight as well. I'd like to start off with my first poem, titled Where Did the Spirits Go When We Stopped Speaking? They curl inside the fold of funeral cloth, stitched with words we forgot to translate. They marinate in steaming rice, left too long, a silence that smells like burnt jasmine. They wait in corners of the house where no one sweeps, where dust remembers more than we do. We light incense, not knowing the names, only rhythm of the wrist as it circles the flames. We fold joss paper into wings, fly them upward with no address. We kneel before the altar, not to speak, but to listen for the rustle of the return. In the mouth of the next child, they wait. It's titled, The Quiet Work of Unbinding. Not the grave, but the sounds sewn around it. Ducking hunupli in a language I only half remember, I held the white hemp like a daughter holds a question. My hands were too small to carry the rooster. Kunyihaitia, kochoyo, kalushosu. Each thread of mourning was basted into my ribs, temporary but still holding. I stitched his name into the lining of my breath to remember how it fit. The funeral cloth did not unravel, but I did. This one's called Bingle Supermarket. Off Clark and Belmont, I still look for your red truck. A flash of rust, parked memory. You were a security guard then, watching over shoppers as they wandered the aisles, unaware of the quiet way you kept them safe. Mom and I would haul our laundry to the building next door, visit you during the rinse cycle in your golf cart, uniform crisp, talking with strangers like they were old friends. Inside, I grabbed a pack of spearmint gum, chew it loud, blow bubbles that burst against my lips, the sticky film clinking like a secret I did not know I was keeping. Mom wandered the meat section, and I trailed behind. Fish in plastic tubs, ground beef behind glass, the air thick with salt and iron. In the chip aisle, Cheetos for Mom, flaming hot for you, Pepsi and Dr. Pepper to cool the heat. I ran out to find you again. You saw the gum stuck to my mouth, peeled it off gently like it was something sacred. Mom handed you the flaming hot Cheetos, the Pepsi. You smiled like it was enough. This song is called Making a Living. A whole yellow onion sliced with chopped garlic, dancing in a hot sizzling pan, coated in burning olive oil. Sweet infusion blend in thick summer air, knife blade slanted supplementary, 50-degree angle, thinly cut green beans, stir-fried with minced chopped beef, drenched in savory, aromatic oyster sauce with a pinch of salt and gashed black pepper. Whisking away, they turn, jump, fold over, and caramelize. Plated next to steaming cooked white fluffy rice of childhood and farming days. Long hours helping my parents pick green beans and lemongrass to sell, sun beating their backs, breeze of country air kissing foreheads, nails filling with dirt, sticky residue from green vines, bamboo leaf baskets, overflowing fresh picked Chinese long beans, pink hues, delicate shades of lavender nesting on sunset horizon. Red Toyota truck. It was a ship isolated out in the sea, being attacked by sharks and sea creatures. Our home base, we played hide and seek, chasing each other until knee skin and scars tattooed. A castle with strong brick walls, and we the knights fought whoever wished to demolish it. A roller coaster, someone pushed down the back of the truck while others enjoyed the bumpy ride. It was a movie prop. We jumped off the trunk, pretending to be FBI agents. Sorry, pretending to be FBI agents, shooting with our stick guns. My stone tower, sealed away by an evil witch, waiting for my prince charm to save me. It was a truck that magic carpeted us, high in the mountains, camped out in tents. My childhood soaked in red paint as the wheels carried father's laughter. This one's called Title of Ducking. Duckling is no whisper, but a roar, ancient as the first crack of lightning, hungry as jungle swallowing time. Its voice drags horizon closer, each note pulled from marble of earth. Bamboo pipes breathing in what sky cannot. The player becomes a storm, lungs exploding with ignition and darkness. Fingers trace rivers, breath floods valleys, each sound uncoiling like a serpent wrapped in mist. The pipes, 6 veins of memory, pulsing with gold stress and trance and tears, song tangles with roots of mountains, burrowing into bones of war. Twisting like smoke, sharp and broken, tongue gnawing at the silence of graves, names forgotten and screams swallowed by rivers. Bamboo pipes dripping with grief, ash and blood of migrations. Spirits gather like clouds and mountains, hum their approval. Bridges vibrating rhythm, tucking its a knife cutting through time. A thread mending sky to soil, bending air to its swell, presenting what cannot be burned. Okay, hopefully I don't cry, okay. This one's called Anu Jitsao. In Jai Mo, Kunya Bemu, Kumabong do the Osha Plu, gentle flow, scarce and hushed embrace, Shimo Shahiro Tokate. Pandemic prevents hospital visitations, metal bars and plastic sheets shield entrance of translucent apertures. Viewing from outside, families gather crawling under fences just to see one last time. Anu to Ikochito Kamo, through tender moments of everlasting filial love. See, Kapundi Tole, Shalabimuche, shroud in the dim of light, dreading final days our hearts bear. Oceans swallow chamber dreams. Mutsotoke, Koyachishela. This one's called Arms of the Clock. 8 a.m. Waited for guests to arrive. Your pictures displayed on white draped tables, flowers aligned so beautifully. 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. Reaching alcohol to numb the pain, find reasons to laugh, make the darkness turn to light. 5:30 a.m. Early realization, drown me, smiles forces. 10 a.m. The presence of you in sight, families outside receiving you, morning chants of your departure seep through walls. 4 a.m. We huddle around your wooden box, your knees sing your daimu, fluid down our cheeks, whispers dying out. 10 p.m. Guests departed while others stayed. Echoes trembled every corner. Families taking their slumber. As daughters, nieces slip repose from a bottle. 5 a.m. Worn out, blankets wrapped chill bodies. 6 a.m. Drums and bamboo flute crescendo, souls rise in the sun. 7 a.m. No smile. 5:30 a.m. Sleep covered our eyelids. Hands of ice and iron. He wears the sky like armor, pure blue, stretched thin across his shoulders. Every cloud tapped with depths he does not name. Hands are rivers cracked and curving, cupping dust of dreams he buried so his children could sprout. At dawn, he becomes a shadow plow, dragging rows of sacrifice. At night, he is a door that refuses to close. His body thrones with borrowed heat. The moon lingers, chasing breath in the quiet dark. He dreams in Hmong, he fears in English. Each star he sees is another family left behind. Minkong memory caught mid-drift. To his daughters, he is stillness, the kind that builds bridges out of sweat and unspoken hopes. To his sons, he is a tiger's shadow, never fully seen, always felt. To himself, he is nothing but a stone painted in the river of history, breaking currents so others can cross. A bod with my grief still sleeping. The sun slips in like a nurse, quiet at the edge of my breath. Which it sleeps in my ribs. Buried twice, once in the ground, once in the silence between us. Outside, Zhao Jingdong is bruised with oranges. I press one to my lips, taste the ache of sweetness that comes after rot. Enochi, Udoku, Bihungo Dolundu. I envy their throatful certainty, their wings that forgot the nest each morning. I let grief sleep. Gumuto Holuting, like someone learning to walk again. The light is the door opens slowly. Unuto Chiyaki Yashin. The next poem, Miguel. You always told me to challenge my anger when it comes to grief, and I want to attempt that. So this one's called Primal Pain Tempest My Empty Chamber. Why do the stars dare to gleam? Thunder of anger roars at the tips of my lips. No solace in moonbeams glow. Curse the sky, the cosmos steal you away, ripped from my shore. Cruise specters leaving me adrift. Có cho biết chạy mù sổ tư chi chinh. Không bố lý trả lời, có yếu chỉ trả lời. Tight grip around my hands don't help. I want to punch the sky for taking you. White knuckles print unanswered responses, lost in the battlefield, falling like relentless rain. Tightening the wounds of unjust fire remains unspoken. I lit incense for you and cursed the smoke for rising. Kukishehin bikato. Tushetia. Tushech though mo ilolu haidoko. Dakin chua the shiko sagamito. Beneath the price of quiet waits, the floor cold and lights dim, a fridge empty, a mother's worn out lullaby fades into echoes of hushed cries. Hunger masked with painted smiles, laughter fed by quiet stealth, 8 mouths to feed where dinner is just a prayer. Man, but you're not a shimono. 8 empty bowls tonight, phantoms stretch across the floor. She knows the math of hunger's toll, no room to fall or coil. Between 12 suns she can climb, she rises and borrows strength to fall. But still, she folds her shirts with care, purrs a tune no one taught her. Plants cilantro in a cracked pot by the window just in case. All hope, like waves through concrete, even a drought can burn a Pink Floyd rose. She saves the last spoonful of rice for the youngest, tucks the dream into the blanket's edge, and when no one's looking, she smells at the sprout that dared to grow in the wrong season. Surge, logic, emotion. Grief is a river that forgets its bank. It floods without warning, carves new paths through memory, and carries pieces downstream you didn't know were loose. It swells in the throat when no one's looking, slips under doors into dreams. It rewrites the map of your body, a new tributary where your laughter used to live. You try to dam it with ritual, with prayer, with serenity, but it seeps through the cracks of even your strongest words. Until the day you find a daffodil growing from silt and realize you've been changed. The house you left her in. She scrubbed the sink today, where bowls of chili sauce and spoons used to rest, the ones you never rinsed, the ones she cursed. Now she would give anything to see you again. The walls are smug with silence, no echo slamming with your work shoes or the way you sighed of exhaustion. She's angry at you for dying, angry that she's left alone when you said you two were a team. She took her anger out on us, yelling harsh words. She doesn't mean it, just like how you didn't mean to leave. You left her with half a grocery list and a bed that still dips on your side. They say grief is love with nowhere to go, but hers has claws. It tears through photo albums, rips the seam of her long wedding clothes. She roughly tosses your colored shirts into a bag and stuffs your shoes into the closet. She wears a jacket like armor, but it doesn't stop the cold. You're a liar. You thief of breath and heartbeats. you beautiful infuriating soul. She sets a plate for you, for grandpa and grandma, whispers your name into steam of harvest, where cucumbers bloom with remnants, crying in the ache of labor. She waits for your laugh to interrupt her bitterness. She still loves you in the most violent, aching way. A body learning its own blueprints. I am this selfish stitch by my ancestors' hands. Gulumbe Chiogoli, but it was sewn to me before I could speak. I carry the rooster feather, not for ceremony, but to remember how flight begins in morning. My grief is bilingual. One language unravels, the other knots into my throat. I try to hymn my identity, borrowed thread, white hymn, English syllables, the sound of ducking echoing in my ribs. Gu, Kuyaduntai Osodo, not to repair, but to remake the cough tears. I lit it, I gathered the threads and began. Embroidery in the jungle's patterns. The needle is a bone, its tip drinking the skin of cloth. Mother's hands move like water, wrinkled currents carving tails into fabric. Each stitch a scar, each thread a vein pulled, taught between generations of connections of needlework. Daughter's eyes full of cloudbursts, fascination swarms the language of needles, the way it whispers secrets into loops and knots. Bundle is alive, it breathes in patterns of don't it all. Edges fraying like borders of memory. Mother stirs the quiet, voice thick with ghosts, each note biting daughter. Closer to the life and loud she will never experience, never knowing hardships of monk survival and sacrifice. Chain stitch a broken sky, needle tornadoes through her ribs, tying her to monsoon winds and rice fields of green silk. Bundle grows wild, Tomoya blooming in impossible colors, roots twisting into triangles that bite, leaves swaying in soft utter tunes. Hands move in rhythm, cloth stretching, a drapery of camouflage of fatigue. The last poem. Ode to the voice that says I'm not enough after Eugenia Lee. I am trying to cherish the voice that hides behind my teeth, the one that slanders Jion Taizhong when I look in the mirror. You, quiet saboteur, you, echo of every breath light I mistook for truth. You taught me how to listen, how to hush, how to write with my teeth clenched. I'm trying to name you without shame, to say you are not weakness. You taught me how to disappear before anyone asked me to fold myself into apologies. I used to hate you, your timing, your persistence, your way of tuning a praise into static. But now I see you are trying to protect me from disappointment, from the ache of wanting to be loved whole. You are not the enemy, just how they learned too early that survival meant shrinking. You are the threadbare blanket I wrapped around my worth when the world felt too loud. I'm trying to cherish your trembling, to say "Kachemongi," to say you belong. Now I see you are the altar, the offering, the reason I write in blood. Thank you.